energy right as well. So I could be Santa and the Pope of Pot too, man. You just wait till you see what Santa brings you this year. Cookies, babies, milk and cookies. Coffee and cookies. The hell with the milk. Let the cows keep that. The cavies need it, man. Babies, we're on a roll here today on the Coyote Medicine Show, only on the Hazy Radio Network, baby. Your host, Grandpa Coyote, helping you take flight. A whole bunch of angels hanging out with us, too. Maybe you help us get it right, man. We're live and spontaneous here from Crestonia, Colorado, 9,000 feet high, hanging out in the spaceship love, poised for takeoff, man, radiating love all over the place, man. We are a tsunami of love, and so are you, man. Your heart adds to this energy. We just keep, rolling up a big ball of love here each and every day as we get out here and play on this Coyote Medicine Show every day, babies. Oh, yeah. Ain't it sweet? We just know what to do, man, because we're here in it and we're loving it too, man. That's just what we do right here on the Coyote Medicine Show. We're at but on the Hazy Radio Network. Biggest heart you ever found. Since old Grandpa's hanging around this channel and this side of town, babies. Ooh, yeah. Got some real special shows coming up for you this week. Friday, we're going to have Rashmi Kalini on from good old London, UK. She's the international mother goddess of love, man. I'm telling you. And you're going to want to be here for that because when her and Coyote get to playing, oh my goodness, the words we get to saying, the life we convey. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. It's an agreement that goes across the oceans, across the skies, across the earth. It's the happy hearts of love, recognizing one another and dancing a nice little dance. You're going to be here for that Friday, man. Oh, shit, yeah, baby. Going to be the time of your life. Next Tuesday, the following Tuesday, I think it's Tuesday, maybe it's Wednesday, maybe it's Friday. Hell, I don't know, but somewhere there, we've got Jew Light from Costa Rica coming on, man. Now, she is this European chick that, wow, carved the life out of the jungle. She's a powerful psychic. She knows where you're at and who you're with and why your mother doesn't like it too. So she and I are going to have a lot of fun too. There you're going to be one. I think that's next Tuesday. I got to check. Let me just check here real quick. So I ain't telling you lies. I got to find that real quick. There we are. Let's see what it says. Okay, promotion starts today. Yeah, that's going to be December 21. Yeah, about 7 a.m., 9 a.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Coyote Medicine Show, only on the Hazy Radio Network. And then, oh my God, you got to stay tuned on Christmas Day. We're going to have a really special show. Grandpa's going to share his version of A Christmas Carol, that little tale about Bob Cratchit and Tiny Tim and, the old Scrooge that wouldn't give him anything but then gave him everything because he realized what an asshole he was because some ghosts come and visited him. Well, we'll probably turn that around just a wee bit and give it a little coyote flair. But we're going to be having that to share for sure on that beautiful Christmas Day, along with a whole lot more. Miss Ravin Watson, Ravin is what we call her, baby, is joining us Christmas Day because I was on her show last year on Christmas Day and New Year's Day. That's essentially where we got our beginning here on the Hazy Radio Network, babies, was right there with Ravin. So it's going to be a new beginning of a different sort this year because now she's on my show. It's funny how these tables turn, baby. And we got a lot to share. I got to tell you, Ravin is one of the most open-hearted young ladies you're ever going to meet, man. And this gal has got it on. It's happening. She's going through a lot and she's learning a lot and growing a lot. And baby, she's a divine angel of love. And baby, she's psychically connected to you too, just like the rest of these gifted beings that we have on here as guests. Only the best, in my humble opinion. And we just leave the rest alone, man, and let them be what they are. But we love these bright stars that shine in the sky. And we're going to get more guests on here as time goes on, because gee whiz, Grandpa only can go so far, We need a little contrast and color from the feminine side, man. There's all masculine energy flowing out of here. It's good. It's a coyote thing because it's got so much divine feminine loaded into it. I am probably inside one of the most gentle beings that ever lived. Yet on the outside, I got this gruff exterior and I can push people away and shit. Boy, I tell you what, we're dealing with some deep shit there, aren't we, kids? Because that's, kind of a reflection of the greater soul of humanity, our old way of doing things, how we drew lines and divisions and, threatened each other and shit just to get people to behave and, not steal from us or whatever, And pretty soon you got a war on your hands. You didn't even know you started it. God, we've been to some rough places, man. But we have learned and grown and gained. And, we're finally starting to see the other way. We're finally starting to see the light. That the reality of love can self-correct everything. And, less and less to the point where we don't even have to draw lines anymore. They're automatically drawn for us. And it just happens. People that don't flow with us vibrationally can't get near us. And those that do can't resist us. They come running. And Ravin, I'm feeling your energy, baby. I don't even know if you're listening in this morning. I hope you are. But goodness gracious. This is going to be an audacious show. Bodacious show, man. Here on the Coyote Medicine Show. Christmas Day. A special broadcast of radiant love. The unwrapping of some beautiful packages. And I promise you, a really sweet surprise Christmas Day, just like you'd get if you was hanging out here at the Coyote Den. You might not get any material goods from me all wrapped up in ribbons and bows, but you would certainly get a spiritual gift. Because they don't cost anything. And they look prettier. The wrappings are a whole lot prettier than what we get in this world. Forgive me, I laugh too much and start coughing. I got to explain. Occasional cough you're going to get out of me because, darlings, I'm a smoker. I'm a chimney. I like my tobacco. I like my marijuana. And I do indulge in that stuff. And so it gives me, and I'm advanced in age now, so it gives me a little rattly in my chest. And I just have to cough it up once in a while. And do apologize for not hitting the old switch, but I do tuck my whole face in my shirt sleeve so I don't get it all over you, okay? It's just the Coyote way, baby. We live with what we are and we embrace it. We're not afraid of it. Nothing's going to kill us. Nothing's going to harm us. And we already know that. We know that we are divinely protected no matter where we are or what's going on in that place where we happen to be. We know that the universe will always treat us as gently as we will allow it to. I already have that written in my heart. I already know that backwards and forwards. You understand? I live in that place. And I love that place of living, let me tell you. It's sure a whole lot simpler than when you got to fight your way through it, let me tell you, babies. It's called living in the flow. It's called catching the glow. It's called being alive in your life. And that's what we do here on the Coyote Medicine Show. We share that energy, the very key to your heart. And these special gifts, all of them that we're talking about today, and there'll be more added as we go along, babies. I aim to make this Christmas show spectacular. Because, well, shoot, it's fun. So when I say spectacular, it's not like fireworks going off, but yeah, it is. It's like the Roman candle of love that never stops, man. It just keeps blowing out those beautiful shooters. And, man, we glow and flow and just, radiate this love into this reality. It's the secret of the whole revolution. It can come through a heart like yours right now. It doesn't have to wait around. There is no longer the waiting. There is the gaining and the growing. And it's a personal thing. And it comes to you in a very personal way. And you'll see your energy enhanced by the animals around you. You'll start to have communications like you haven't had before. Birds will come to you. Maybe even little bees and bugs and spiders and shit. Everything has a message for you. Everything has another element of your love. It's there to remind you. Perhaps that particular aspect of creation has carried a certain energy for humanity throughout the dark ages so that we could now, as we reach the end point of the tunnel where the light is, man, we can receive it all back again, put it together in a perfectly assembled puzzle and see the full portrait of life. Finally, the thing that we've been painting and working on and creating since day one. Now we get to see the complete and whole picture, and we'll understand then why our souls dance across the sky when we're going through misery and pain and suffering and shit like that here. And why our souls line up at the doorway to get in here, man. I mean, it's a long application process. It's through 13 levels of bureaucracy. Don't you see? Nah, it's not quite that bad, but you do have to be really qualified to become a human being. You've got to be pretty dang seasoned in living already. Just to become a human being, just to live for 30 seconds in a baby body and a few months in a mama's belly. Just to experience that, you've got to be a very ascendant and strong-hearted being. You can't just be some pansy-ass kid from down the freeway that just got born yesterday. You can't do it. You couldn't handle the human existence. It takes essentially loving souls that are so grounded in that love, they can't be dissuaded from it no matter what kind of life they're living here in this perceptual reality, this big old dream that we create to have this kind of experience in, where it won't harm anyone, it won't hurt anyone, it doesn't spread beyond here. It's in this dream and that's where it is. Oh, it's beautiful, babies, you know. We designed this, you know. I still smell the smoke, that passionate smoke from the fire of love way back when, at the beginning of time, when there were like these 7 beings, the mother and her 6 extensions, the first lives to live here. Now, we already explained how they came forward from the ocean. We already went through how from April 20 of 2008, these same 7 hapless souls unconsciously gathered together in refuge from a huge howling snowstorm that came out of nowhere and obliterated the landscape with the white blessing of love, frozen love, babies, I'm telling you. Deep as all get out, blown over the top of Kim Cafe, the very center of the universe where these 7 beings are assembled. But simultaneously through time, because of their engagement there on April 20 of 2008, they're living all of their lives right back to the beginning of time, where these 7 beings sit beside the campfire of love, assimilate the passionate smoke that emotes therefrom, and plot and plan their way through the ages of darkness. How are we going to handle these energies? How can we keep love alive? How can our forms and expressions find some love that will keep us alive? Because we're going dark places. We're going to hell and gone, man. We're really going to stretch it out and lose everything that we ever knew as ourself, and have to pick it up in little tiny pieces throughout the generations, a little piece here, a little piece there, and reassemble it. That's what this billion years is for, of this divine dream that we've extended ourselves into from that very cradle of love, the center of love, which is another perspective as you go through the fire. Right through the fire, to the fire of life that creates fire in the first place. So you never thought about that. What is fire? It seems so natural to us. It was a gift from God in those days, more or less, so to speak. You know, something to preserve the light. You know, something to remind us of the transformative energies. Something to keep us warm when we were cold, inside and out. Something that would, in a deep way, at a very subconscious level mostly, remind us of our origins, the beginnings around that original campfire that really is the burning fires of love, the passion for life and living and experience that comes from the very essential soul of the universe, from which all beings extend into their persona. We're just an aspect of that creative heart at the center of the being of the universe. And that is a being hanging on a little bauble, a little ornament hanging on a holiday tree that's, 3 miles tall and 42 miles wide and has billions and billions of baubles on it. I mean, it's a magnificent tree, and so are the shiny little universes that dangle from its branches. And we're just one aspect of all of that. Yet the creative heart, the resource of love, lives within us the same as it does right in the root of that tree. It goes right to the root of life and comes forward and emotes all of this experience into being. Such a magnificent display of the ever-loving essence of a truly divine and creative heart, which we see now reflected inside of each and every one of us. This is what we're here to receive, the gift of our very own heart in this lifetime, in this time of right now. All that we've been through, All of this dark and deep experience we've been experiencing as we sit beside these various fires through these various ages of time have just brought us to this point where we can finally unwind and be the divine as human persons and allow then the spectacular to begin. For then we return to the light body person that's dreaming the dream in the first place, back there in that original garden of Lemuria, the place of origins, the place where life first emoted forward from the oceans, the beautiful jungle of love where everything is divinely present and so in love with the life within itself and all around it. The trees, the birds, the flowers, the snakes, the alligators, everything is there. We create it all in our imaginative dream. We bring it forward. We bring forward the horse, the grand nature of the horse, the buffalo, those of the solid nature, those of the solid heart. Yeah, and they could meander and wander, but they could always be the unity energy for us. They would keep that for us until the time that we set them free and receive that energy back inside of ourselves. So some of the harsher aspects of this reality, such as when the great herds of buffalo were slaughtered and wasted, in another way was a way of sharing a divine blessing. For the buffalo could no longer carry that energy. The unity energy was divinely aspected, divinely ordained, let's say, because I don't have a better word, to become itself in humanity again. And therefore, what the buffalo had carried throughout all the centuries and generations was brought forward in a loving way. Though it seemed brutal and harsh and mean as all get out and was done by some of the angriest and meanest and vengeful people you ever met. Yet there were saints amongst them. One of them being that Kit Carson that sits here with us beside this fire that came from nowhere. Used to be my neighbor. He was a Hollywood cowboy in this lifetime. And done right well, thank you very much. And now we see a different aspect of his life as this Kit Carson back in mid-18 to late 1800s, man. He was part of that great slaughter of the buffalo herd, and he felt every life that he took because he was tribal. He was received as the son of the indigenous people. He knew better, yet he couldn't stop. His heart was compelled by a dark feeling he could not contain. You see? But on the other side of it, as with most of this life, there was a very high aspect being served. The unity of love, that which had kept the herds of millions of buffalo together and moving in synchronicity. That very energy was there to be shared with humanity, and for a moment it had to be released and let go, because the time of the buffalo then was over for the moment. Yet the buffalo, because it is the unity heart and carries that energy, could never be completely taken away. Its heart was planted there at what we call the Buffalo Heart Ranch. Forever and ever. That's what it became in this time frame, in the 2000s. But back since the beginning of time, that has been where the buffalo anchored its heart, here on what we now call Turtle Island. Then it was part of a greater assemblage of land. There was one big island all the way around the earth. It was called Lemuria. And it covered everything everywhere. The oceans were surrounding it. We were a huge island of love, all connected. And we could spread out anywhere we wanted. We were completely expansive in the beginning. We knew we could extend to all these beautiful and divine places that Mother Earth and we had created for ourselves to find some respectful enjoyment in as we went through the ages of darkness and pain. We even realized now how we'd created mountains to give ourselves a high place of refuge where we could go and receive of the spirit energy that would be preserved in these high places because of the harshness of the conditions there and the difficulty of remaining there for very long as a human presence. You see, everything in this life is designed and guided in this way, and we designed it all. The 7 beings of love sitting beside the campfire of love. Way back when in the beginning of time, and we're experiencing that from 4/20/2008. We're experiencing that from right now in 2014 in December, whatever it is here. We're just living this life fully and completely all the way through the dimensions of spirit, all the way through the dimensions and expressions and generations of time, right back to the beginning, because this story is written in our heart the same as it is everyone else's. It's been the biggest secret ever to be contained and carried through a billion years or two. You understand? All the generations kept this energy alive in one way or another. That's why we designed all these vessels and vehicles, like the mountains, like the fire, like the food. We designed food so people would love it, have passion about it, so that even the darkest of beings, the nastiest of people, would have to eat and would have to find some joy and love there. You see? We found subtle ways to experience the love in the darkest moments. We found ways of bringing souls together in ways they never would have been attached otherwise, for the purposes of sharing one single little moment of love that would expand so greatly, energetically, throughout the auspicious spread of humanity that everyone would be bought another 100,000 years or whatever you needed. That moment was so significant, shared by two, maybe three beings or something like that. So significant. That love would carry us on forever, no matter how dark and ugly the drama became in which we lived, you know? Gosh. And we're sitting there looking at all of these aspects. I even remembered and saw how I began my little skinny dipping career, how I loved being in the high mountain streams and waters of one sort or another. Naked as the day I was born, and free in the heart to be in love with Mother Nature and let her love me and help me through a divine and difficult life. In this time frame, in this lifetime, let alone the aspects of the past. And then we saw where old Kit Carson there, who joined us, I said, used to be my neighbor, joined us after the fact. We're already assembled at Kim Cafe. We had to go to the Buffalo Heart Ranch to greet him, that place where the buffalo has grounded itself and sworn to be forever. And sure as hell, there's a herd of buffalo there now, about 2,000 head, I reckon, grazing out there in the south pasture and just enjoying the shit out of it and having a good time. I think that's part of the bubbly energy we're feeling as we sit in there in the courtyard of the hacienda and enjoy our imbibements and share this experience together as we regenerate through the generations. Wow. And then there was that time, 3,000 years ago, when we finally scored. We finally came to that place where we could, start to manipulate time a bit. Go back through some of the lives. The trick is, in order to do this, you had to have lived in a linear way through the time frames in which you wish to now extend influence in a more conscious way, in a backward sort of way through time. Because we've got a little gateway there, 3,000 years ago, hidden up in the Himalayas. And our little hero of the time, who I kind of personify as the Kit Carson character, though it feels like it's all 7, 8 of us, all of us, gathered together in that one singular life. And it wasn't just this guy. He's the one that was brought to it first, but there is this woman who completely empowers him. She's been his buddy since she was 13. She comes from a different circumstance. And so does he, and therefore any situation between them that could have been considered a relationship sort of thing, back in those days, pretty archaic attitudes about it. But that was impossible because of their statuses in life, It was very impossible. So what she did was found a means by which to reduce herself to the point that her family, her father in particular, could no longer accept her. She would be a soiled person, a soiled being, and would never again enjoy the luxuries of her elegant home, the palatial estate upon which she was living, where she was raised, and allowed a certain amount of freedom, which is how she encountered this young man in the first place. And now they're like, 1,500 miles apart. He's in the Himalayas, she's in Egypt, because of circumstances, yet because of the aspects of this stargate through which they can travel in time and distances if it's not even there. Well, of course they come together. And of course they begin the great journey of love, which will actually set in place the motion of love that brought us to the time of rehabilitation now, where we regenerate ourselves completely and come back to the royal existence of heart, of love that we've always known ourselves to be, even though we had to put it all away to live through this thing called time and engineered our way through it quite fine. And at this point, 3,000 years ago in the Himalayas, this young lady, so empowered in the love of the Mother Goddess, of the completeness of the earth, the same as he, with the completeness of the sky to boot. And they were earth and sky together. And together, with the aid and assistance of this stargate, they went forward across the continents of their time frame and met people and brought people energetically back together again with their hearts and began the opening experiences of love that I say predicated the energies through the dark ages, the next 3,000 years, to bring us forward to the light when we reach the end of the tunnel of time. We've done it. We've accomplished it all. Those two, man, they were so regenerative in their day. There was a flash for 200 or 300 years thereafter where love just could not be subdued, though try as some forces might to do it. These communities that were very similar in nature to the community that was hidden high there in the Himalayas that serviced this stargate, the 60 or so beings that lived there in complete divine harmony, in worship of one another, and therefore in the greatest respect of all life. I mean, this was a stunning discovery in its day, for there was no such place anywhere. If you had a moment of sweetness in a life, you better hang on to it, because it wasn't going to happen again, not very likely. These were some harsh times, man, when great powers of the earth, were struggling with each other, and there's great difficulty all across the lands. Oh, but darlings, it became so settled in that time because of the active work of these two pirating individuals, because they were pirates of their day, love pirates, man. They would commandeer your ship in a hurry and re-steer its course and guide you to the treasure. And there you'd be, living communally with your divine, energetic family for the first time in a billion years. It was amazing, babies. We were doing incredible things in those days. Yet it's the same thing as at the beginning of the time where we designed that moment and put it in place and put that little village there so that it would always be the same way the buffalo carried the unity, the centered heart, the ability to re-engage ourselves in time, etc., would always be there for us at that moment, that gateway. And when we reached that moment, well, that was the assurance we needed to finish the job, that we would not discorporate and destroy creation, as some beings anticipated that we could, but instead regenerate it all, bring it back to life in the fullest aspect of feeling it has ever known, by extending the divine into every bit of it, and realizing that it's there already, that all creation is divine, and feeling and living with that in that divine way. Darlings, it gives up all the struggle. It returns us out of the dream back to our actual physical presence in Lemuria. A billion years later, after we've dreamt the dream, but it's like one tear shed from your eye. That billion years has just gone by. It's a dream. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare with very, cloud with a silver lining, a golden lining, a heart of gold right here at the end of the tunnel of time. The rediscovery of our truth, our self, our humble beginnings here. And now you see how real saints be, how we've kept ourselves alive. Now you begin to understand why we've done it. And the beauty, the poetry, the symmetry. Oh yeah, and the haphazard nature of it too, babies. There was only so much we could predict. Time being so malleable, there was only so much we could put into place. And that's why we had to hit the reset button a few times, because it didn't always work out the way we anticipated that it would. And we'd have to go back and do another beginning. Have you done that in your lifetime this time? Been there, done that? Well, babies, you know how it feels then for humanity, because it's the same exact feeling. It's very refreshing to have a new beginning, but It's a sad little tragedy that we couldn't get it together in that aspect, and we had to let it go and try a new one. You see, so there's been these creative times where, again, those 7 original beings, well, they became 13 as we moved into time because they extended into genderization. One became male, one became female. But both are the same. They're male and female together. So the 7 became 13. 12 children and a mother that extended all these into being, you see. So it's a singular person that then extends itself on out into humanity and becomes the creation. See, this was when we began our love celebrations. This was when the navel was created from these first 12 beings and 13 counting the mother, because she was an active participant in it too. It was a shared thing. It was a family thing, you see. So some people would call sexual practices as having a root in that time, and they would call it a great fall. It was that reminder. It was that one moment of divine love that would drive us berserko, of course, through the ages, but would also keep us together no matter what. So we wouldn't lose the connection with the divine. We get blasted, we get knocked down, tromped on, run over by steam shovels, and so forth, man, forever and ever. But babies, we would have these moments with one another, or a familiar energy extended from one another, because understand, all of humanity came from these 7 and then 13 beings. We extended from each and every one of them. These are our original mothers and fathers. Each and every tribe on this earth has a seed, a root there. Follow your navel. You come right back to these people. And this place and time where it all began, and where we designed it as human souls, as a singular consciousness in each of these individual persons. We designed our way through it and gave ourselves the instruments and tools, the guidance, the guardianship, etc., that we were going to need in order to accomplish our essential goal, which was to experience the complete utter absence of life while still living. No feeling, in other words, to come to the darkest places. And not only dark places, but to live in them for thousands, millions of years. And find the light in them. Find the dirtiest, ugliest places that life could ever be. And find the life there. Find the love there. Find the light in it. The meanest things that we could possibly imaginatively create and harass ourselves with, we've done. We set loose the dark dragon as we came forward from the ocean out of those waters of love. And it became opposition to us as we felt it. It became a control agent that assimilated into the human existence and added a reptilian energy that became cold and heartless. And this was the darkness, the age of cruelty, the age of pain, the age of grudge, putting ourselves asunder, even while elevating ourselves in these superficial and illusionary ways. We would see things as, separate from one another. Therefore, we could assign values to them and trade them back and forth and really be stupid with each other. Get into all kinds of fights and arguments over who gets what and how much do they get and why should you, and, etc. We would have to struggle against our environment in order to survive. We'd have to struggle against our own basic nature, which would be completely corrupted and turned around. We would have to struggle through that, through the generations of time. That's why the bets were against us, yet we were so creative and so sure, sitting at those fires of love at the beginning of time, that we could do this. That there was never even a question about it. There was no bets placed here. We knew the outcome. How could you bet on it? We created it right there in that moment. We knew it'd be ugly and difficult in there, but we knew we'd get through it because we already had. We created the ending in the beginning. And now we're coming back to that moment in the beginning as the ending, which is always a beginning. Because we've kept ourselves active in so many ways. All of our energies alive. When they thought, the beings of opposition thought they had totally obliterated our soul. The elements were alive in everything around us. We couldn't lose anything. We could experience nothingness in this way, in this dream. We could experience, at point zero, as they call it, where there isn't anything. It's just total, absolute nothing. Yet out of that comes the something that really is. That's when you start to find life. When you realize the darkest moment, that is your brightest moment. That's when you awaken, you see. There might be some heinous activity goes with that. Babies, forgive yourself and remember it's a dream. See the innocence that flows through you in every moment that you've lived. You'll never live like that again, I assure you, ever. We're done with it. We've got to that place linearly. Along the old line of time, we got here, baby. And we don't have to screw around with it anymore. We just accept and embrace the ascendant love that we are and let it flow through us. And the whole earth changes and life becomes what it is as we rearranges it. The old just dissolves away. It's difficult to describe, but you're beginning to experience that now. So you understand what I mean. A lot of folks tweaking out because the old ways don't work anymore. Just like I was talking a few minutes ago of how we have to draw lines in this world and keep people at a distance and blah 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 because their behavior is so objectionable. They become so far from themselves they don't even know they have a self. Well, babies, we're keeping it to ourselves now. This great love flowing through us. Yeah, we allow this to be, and babies, it'll help us change those very means by which we have lived, where we've had to be so tough and wise and constant, watch. So we never got taken advantage of, blah, blah, blah. Yet we got taken advantage of like crazy. I mean, shoot, who are we trying to kid? There is no guardianship. There is no protection. There's only the heart and its way of being. And if you can allow it to carry you through, then there is no pain. There might be a little difficulty, but you're just there to unravel the puzzle and put it back together again. It's easy. It's, well, not always easy. It's simple. So it seems easy. Yeah. But living in the actuality of it, well, shit chat. There's always going to be a little bit of scratchiness because that's what we need to keep us moving, That's why we wear wool socks, man. That itchiness reminds us to keep our feet going. Never stop till you're there. And when you're there, well, yeah, you get some time to relax, but constant growth, that's what we're all about. It never ends. Creation expands forever. Once we reach this point of the contented sigh, the orgasmic love, and it just spreads. I mean, that's what it does. We're in it forever, babies. And there is this one moment where it is all together. And you, me too, we're a unified unit, babies. Feel that? Yeah, you see, we fit together like a matrix. We got all of these connections. We're like one person, one being. But expressed beautifully in our individual selves. What a great way to celebrate life. And we've been so darkened down, we thought that was threatening. Well, maybe it was for a while. Maybe that was our illusion. Maybe now we can let go of the pain that compelled us into such awful places and really start to regenerate ourselves together as male and female, as divine feminine, divine masculine, as the unified love that isn't separate in either one of those energies, that just loves to experience it that way. It gives it great entertainment, great enjoyment to know the fullness of all elements of its aspects, to see its own beauty portrayed before itself, and divinely worship that, to appreciate that so deeply and profoundly, the elegance of the human creation. The graciousness built into our form as well as our figurement and our behavior. The beauty of our truthful life coming forward as the elegant and saintly and divine human persons, the angels of love that we are, so restricted, so put away from ourselves in this past, yet so brought back to life in the moment of now. And that now is 4/20 of 2008. It's never too late. It's always right on time, darlings. Right here for you and me too. Merry Christmas and a ho, ho, ho. Now we got the unified glow. Watch out, world. It has begun. The coyote medicine is a lot of fun. And it's sweet. You can take it so easy, especially in the morning. Just goes down slippery sliding with your morning coffee, baby. Warms you from the inside out. And then reheats the reality around you with a kinship of love and hearts, babies. Expands that fire into everyone. Talking about passionate lives, babies, we haven't even begun. We couldn't even feel before this time. By comparison, I'm telling you, what we're stepping into is so huge, so broad, so major, yet so sweet and simple and quietly coming in. Just the way we'd have it, you know? We like to sneak up on ourselves and surprise ourselves. Merry Christmas. We love surprises. Ho, 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 and away we go. Here on this Coyote Medicine Show, as we're continuing the tale of 4/20/2008, a date that couldn't be late, that had to be met, that was always on time, a date that lasts forever. Because it's then, it's now, and it's way back when. It's all of us, together, once again. Humanity, we are the love that creation's made of. And soon you're going to see the unraveling of all of the divine mystery. So says Grandpa here as he sets you free on the Hazy Radio Network with the Coyote Medicine Show. Oh, a whole lot bunch of fun and a whole lot of rock and roll, babies. I tell you, it's in your soul.